Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Sir Wilson. How are you? Let us continue to praise God because we are still healthy and alive. And please let us include in our prayers our brothers and sisters who are suffering at present due to COVID-19. If in case that if you are new on my YouTube channel, do not forget to press the like, subscribe, and notification bell, and please share this video to your friends, relatives, and loved ones. For this afternoon, I would like to share to you this interesting topic and relevant. Mind your culture. We know that many people are stubborn at present. They are stubborn because they are violating the safety protocols and they are showing disobedience or non-cooperative attitude against the government. But you know, my friends, we should not blame these people, okay? Nor we should not discriminate them. Instead, let us try to understand them and try to analyze and to know how come they are violating and how come they are not following the safety protocols that they are expected to follow every day in order for them to be safe and from being infected of this COVID-19 virus. Perhaps this live stream video will help those people, the violators and the stubborn people, to change their hearts and also try to reflect on the actions that they're doing every day. I hope that they will understand the nature, the beauty, and the importance of culture so that they may be able to change their ways and transform it into positive culture. So basically, what is culture? When we say culture, it comes from the Latin word cultura, meaning to cultivate. And if I'm going to ask you, my friends, what are the things that we are cultivating in our lives, or even in the society, or even in the group where you belong at present? These are the things not only we cultivate, but also these are the things that we share, such as beliefs, custom, practices, tradition, or even social behavior. These are the things we only not cultivate, but also we promote, we propagate, we enhance, we develop, we enjoy, we share. Because these are the things that forms our identity as a person, as a nation, as a country. These are the things that makes our life meaningful every day that we are living. We are influenced, we are guided by these principles, beliefs, customs, tradition, and practices. And this is something that we need to nurture, to treasure, and to value and appreciate because these are the things that makes our life meaningful, purposeful, and also make our life at present as a member of our society. So culture is also about arts, music, literature, and related intellectual activities. These are collectively enjoying by people at present, and these are the product of our creativity, ingenuity, and intelligences as human beings. Now let's try to look how do these people, what do they say about culture? Now, according to Franz Boas, culture had its own unique history and it's not universal in belief or construction. Basically, it is true because we know the fact that there are different culture in the world and each culture is unique. It is unique because they have different tradition, practices, beliefs, customs, and that makes their culture different. Our culture as Filipino is different from the culture of the Chinese. Though sometimes there are similarities because we are influenced by the Chinese, but more so, there are many practices, customs, and tradition beliefs in the Philippines that are different from the Chinese. The American culture is also different from our culture. So we can see that each culture has its own uniqueness. And the uniqueness of that culture depends on the belief, tradition and customs, principles that they are practicing every day. Now, according to George Simmel, human culture as a dialectical relationship between what he termed objective culture and subjective culture. So there is an opposing relationship between subjective culture and objective culture. When we say objective culture, these are the material culture. These are the tangible things as part of our culture. Example of this are technology. Okay? Material things, food, clothes, wealth, assets, properties that these are material things that we are enjoying every day, that we possess, that we long to accumulate and to have in our lives, that we are desiring to have. These are what we call objective culture. Okay? And when we say subjective culture, these are intangible or non-material culture. It can be beliefs, assumption, principles. So these are ideas, concepts. These are example of subjective culture. We don't actually see or feel or taste it. Okay? But we are conceptualizing it. We are doing it because we understand that we have to do it. Faith in God is actually part of what we call subjective culture. We don't see God, but we know that God is in our side because we feel that there is God, and that is faith. We believe and we feel that God really exists. So that is subjective culture. It is intangible. It is non-material, but we believe in the existence and the divine providence of God to all of us. Now, culture has 7 elements. The first elements of culture is to investigate social organization. When we talk about social organization, it's something to do about the manner, the condition, and characteristic of the relationship existing in your family, the members of the family, as well as the extension outside of your family. Example of this is the kinship. Kinship means it is the blood relationship. And normally in the kinship, we are putting emphasis on the relationship of the members of the family and the relationship being forged or developed outside of the family after the marriage or before the marriage. So that is kinship. So what kind of relationship do you have right now in your family? If I'm going to ask you, is there a positive relationship between your parent and your mother? Or is there a positive relationship between the parents and the children? Or what kind of relationship existing among siblings to your brother and sister? Is it positive relationship or is it negative relationship? So it's very important at present for us to talk about it, most especially this time of pandemic, that many people are confused, many people are scared, and many people are also agitated, okay? Because they have lost their jobs, or they are agitated, they are irritated, they are problematic, okay? That's why conflicts are everywhere. That's why we have to really go back. Let's investigate the social organization, what kind of relationship we are actually promoting at present in our family and outside of a family you have the social media, you have the internet, you have the media, print and non-print media. So what kind of relationship is existing in our country at present? The second one is the customs and traditions. When you say customs, these are your routines. That's why when we say culture, everything that we are doing every day is part of culture, and these are customs. So if you are the type of a person who is not following the safety protocol, that is your custom. That is your culture. And that is not good because you are not contributing to the solution for this country. Instead, you are contributing to the problem of this country. So custom is what we are doing every day. These are practices. These are our routines. Many of our practices, the ways that we are doing every day, are the things that we inherited or learned from our forefathers. But we are still doing it every day because it helps us to survive. It makes our life with meaning. It makes our life beautiful or essential. That's why we keep on doing positive customs at present. But of course, when we talk about customs, there are negative customs that we learn from our forefathers. One of which is the corruption. Of course, I do not want to discuss the corruption going on in our country because you know already, more or less, you have heard, you have read news about them. So I will not include that in this discussion. Next is tradition. Tradition is a combination of belief and customs. What are the things that we believe as Filipinos? That's part of tradition. And what are the practices that we are doing as Filipino? That is actually part of our tradition. And tradition makes the culture beautiful. Okay? You know, in the Philippines, there are many festivals, and that is part of tradition. And we are doing this festival because we believe that we need to pay respect, no, to the different patrons introduced to us by the Catholic Church. So that's the essence of festival. We are giving thanks, we are being grateful because we are blessed through the intercession of these patron saints. We are blessed. There is a good harvest in our community. There is a lot of blessings. That's why there is a festival because we are being thankful, we are being grateful. So that's part of tradition. Next is language. In a simple term, we say language is used to communicate with other people. But the question is, what kind of language do you usually use when you communicate? Of course, the international language is English. But in the Philippines, there are many language also and dialects. Dialects, these are type of language being used by the ethnic or the small group of people, the minor groups of people in the Philippines. So in the Philippines, there are hundreds of dialects and languages that we are using. One of which is the Tagalog language, which is actually the basis of our official language in the Philippines, Tagalog or Filipino. And also English is considered as a national language also in our country. But more than focusing on the different types or kinds of languages, we also need to focus on how we use language, on how we inspire or to communicate to other people. Because the essence of language is for us to develop positive communication with other people. Yes, you are very good in using the language, but you are poor because you were not able to communicate positively to other people. And it makes the language is non-essential and inappropriate, because instead of gaining friends, you were able to gain enemies. Next is the arts and literature. Arts is actually an expression of our soul. It is not only the expression of our heart and mind, but artistic people, they create art because that is the expression of their personality, individuality rather, and their soul. There are different kinds of arts. You have music, you have performing arts, the dance, singing, stage play, okay? Or even painting, sculpture, okay? There are many forms and expression of arts. And one thing that we should understand about them, these are the product, the expression, the creativity of a person coming inside of that person, and that is the expression of his or her soul. You have the literature. These are books. These are written documents, written books, poems, essay, epics. So there are many kinds of literature. But what is important, what does it do in the culture, is it makes our culture lasting. It makes our culture classic. It makes our culture meaningful because we were able to preserve our tradition and practices and customs, because we were able to preserve our literature. Literature forms the history of our individuality, our country, and our nation. Next is religion. When we say religion, there are different religions and belief in God, different beliefs or different expression about God. Okay, that is religion. Whether our belief in God is influenced by Muslim belief or Muslim religion, or is it influenced by Catholic religion or the other Christian religion or sect, or other religions in the world that are existing at present. So religion is something that develops and deepen our understanding and our relationship to God. And that is religion. And in a way, religion makes our culture meaningful and purposeful at present. The other one is the forms of government. So when we say forms of government, government is actually concerned on the power. Okay? It's concerned on the rule, authority, influence, and power over a particular or specific geographical area or territory. So that is government. Gobernaculum it means to govern. So government is an institution. They are there in order for us to set order and peace in the society. But more so, the mandate of the government is to help people to enjoy and to develop their lives. So that's actually the mandate of the government. They are there to support us, to help us, most especially this time of pandemic that many people are suffering at present rather. The government should be there in order to promote policies and programs that will help people to survive and to overcome the challenges and the problems brought to us by this pandemic. And the last one is the economic systems of a culture. When we say economic system, this is something about the cultural distribution and production of goods and services. In economics, there are different systems on how a particular country distribute and produce the wealth, not only the wealth, but also goods and services, or even the natural resources of their country. So that is economic system. Culture greatly affect the manner of the distribution of the natural resources and the manner of production of services and goods of a particular country. Now, if the culture of the country is capitalist, meaning there is what we call freedom, there is free trade, there is free or open market, of course, that will have a different distribution of wealth, of natural resources in the country. But if a country has a culture of communism, that also will have a different way of distributing their wealth, the natural resources to its people. So that is economic system. It talks about the distribution and the production of goods, services, natural resources, and wealth in a particular country. Now, my dear friends, if I'm going to ask you at present, after knowing what is culture and its elements and principles, how do you show positive culture at present? Perhaps that is the question that I will leave you at present. Because we are in the time of pandemic, and it is expected for all of us to really do our best in order to help the government to follow by following the safety protocols and making ourselves productive so that we can be able to help the government, to win over this COVID-19 pandemic. Remember what J.F. Kennedy, okay? Do you know who is J.F. Kennedy? He said, do not ask the government what the government can do to you. Rather, ask yourself what you can do for the government. So let us try to reflect within ourselves. Are we exercising positive culture based on respect, based on collaboration, being obedient, and being humble in participating to the programs, policies implemented to us by the government? Or we are like other people who are violating, who are stubborn because they're not following, they're not practicing the safety protocols at present. I hope I have given you new insights and perspective. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on my next live discussion. Always remember, no matter how life difficult is, God alone is enough. And that is according to Saint Therese of Avila. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. God bless.